we'll continue analyzing consumer market by studying consumers' buying decision process. Clearly, the buying process starts long before the actual purchase and has consequences long afterward. Some consumers passively shop and may decide to make a purchase from unsolicited information they encounter in the normal course of events. Consumers don't always pass through all 5 stages. They may skip or reverse some. The model in figure 6.4 provides a good frame of reference. However, because it captures the full range of considerations that arise when a consumer faces a highly involving a new purchase. With an internal stimulus, one of the person's normal needs, hunger, thirst, sex, rises to a threshold level and becomes a drive. A need can also be aroused by external stimulus. Marketers need to identify the circumstances that trigger a particular need by gathering information from a number of consumers. They can then develop marketing strategies that spark consumer interest. The relative amount of information and influence of these sources vary with product category and the buyer's characteristics. Generally speaking, although consumers receive the greatest amount of information about a product from commercial, that is, market-dominated sources, the most effective information often comes from personal or experiential sources or public sources that are independent authorities. By gathering information, the consumer learns about competing brands and their features. The first box in figure 6.5 shows the total set of brands available. The individual consumer will come to know a subset of these, the awareness set. Only some, the consideration set, will meet initial buying criteria. As the consumer gathers more information, just a few, the choice set will remain strong contenders. The consumer makes a final choice from these. Marketers need to identify the hierarchy of attributes that guide consumer decision making in order to understand different competitive forces and how these various sets get formed. This process of identifying the hierarchy is called market partitions. How does the consumer process competitive brand information and make a final value judgment? Through experience and learning, people acquire beliefs and attitudes. This in turn influence buying behavior. A belief is a descriptive thought that the person holds about something. Just as important as attitudes, a person's enduring favorable or unfavorable evaluations, emotional feelings, and action tendencies towards some object or idea. The consumer arrives at attitudes toward various brands through an attribute evaluation procedure, developing a set of beliefs about where each brand stands on each attribute. The expectancy value model of attitude formation perceives that consumers evaluate products and services by combining their brand beliefs, the positives and negatives, according to importance. To find Linda's perceived value for each laptop according to the expectancy value model, we multiply her weights by her beliefs about each computer's attributes. This computation leads to the following perceived values. Laptop A equals 0.4182 plus 0.3192 plus 0.2162 plus 0.1192 equals 8. Laptop B equals 0.4172 plus 0.3172 plus 0.2172 plus 0.1172 equals 7. Laptop C equals 0.4102 plus 0.3142 plus 0.2132 plus 0.1122 equals 6. Laptop D equals 0.4152 plus 0.3132 plus 0.2182 plus 0.1152 equals 5. An expectancy model formulation predicts that Linda will favor laptop A, which at 8 has the highest perceived value. The expectancy value model is a compensatory model. With non-compensatory models or consumer choice, positive and negative attribute considerations don't necessarily net out. Using the conjunctive heuristic, the consumer sets a minimal acceptance cutoff level for each attribute and chooses the first alternative that meets the minimal standard for all attributes. With lexicographic heuristic, the consumer chooses the best brand on the basis of its perceived most important attribute. Using the elimination by aspects heuristic, the consumer compares brands on attributes selected probabilistically, while the probability of choosing attribute is positively related to its importance, and eliminates brands that do not meet minimal acceptance cutoffs. Even if consumers form brand evaluations, two general factors can intervene between the purchase intention and the purchase decision. See figure 6.c. The first factor is the attitudes of others. The influence on us of another person's attitude depends on two things. One, the intensity of the other person's negative attitudes toward our preferred alternatives, and two, our motivation to comply with the other person's wishes. The more intense the other person's negativism and the closer he or she is to us, the more we will adjust our purchase intention. The converse is also true. The second factor is an unanticipated situation, factors that may erupt to change the purchase intention. A consumer's decision to modify, postpone, or avoid purchase decision is heavily influenced by one or more types of perceived risk. A functional risk. The product does not perform to expectations. A physical risk. The product poses a threat to the physical well-being or health of the user or others. A financial risk. The product is not worth the price paid. Social risk. The product results in embarrassment in front of others. A psychological risk. The product affects the mental well-being of the user. Time risk. The failure of the product results in opportunity cost of finding another satisfactory product. Satisfaction is a function of the closeness between expectations and the product's perceived performance. If performance falls short of expectations, the consumer is disappointed. If it meets expectations, the consumer is satisfied. If it exceeds expectations, the consumer is delighted. A satisfied consumer is more likely to purchase a product again and will also tend to say good things about the brand to others. Dissatisfied consumers may abandon or return the product. They may seek information that confirms its high value. They may take public action by complaining to the company, going to a lawyer, or complaining directly to other groups, such as business, private or government agencies, or to many others online. Private actions include deciding to stop buying the product, exit option, or warning friends, voice option. Marketers should also monitor how buyers use and dispose of the product, figure 6.7. A key driver of sales frequency is product consumption rate. The more quickly buyers consume a product, the sooner they may be back in the market to repurchase it. If consumers threw the product away, the marketer needs to know how to dispose of it, especially if, like batteries, beverage containers, electronic equipment, and disposable diapers. It can damage the environment. There also may be product opportunities in disposed products. Marketers should also monitor how buyers use and dispose of the product, figure 6.7. The expectancy value model assumes a high level of consumer involvement or engagement and active processing the consumer undertakes in responding to our marketing stimulus. We buy many products under conditions of low involvement and without significant brand differences. Consider thought. If consumers keep reaching for the same brand in this category, it may be out of habit, not strong brand loyalty. Evidence suggests we have low involvement with most low cost, frequently purchased products. Marketers use techniques to try to convert a low involvement product into one of the higher involvement. Some buying situations are characterized by low involvement but significant brand differences. Here, consumers often do a lot of brand switching. One of the most active academic research areas in marketing over the past 3 decades has been behavioral decision theory. Behavioral decision theorists have identified many situations in which consumers make seemingly irrational choices. The availability heuristic. Consumers base their predictions on the quickness and ease with which a particular example of an outcome comes to mind. If an example comes to mind too easily, consumers might overestimate the likelihood of its happening. For example, a recent product failure may lead consumers to inflate the likelihood of a future product failure and make them more inclined to purchase a product warranty. A representativeness heuristic. Consumers base their predictions on how representative or similar the outcome is to other examples. One reason package appearances may be so similar for different brands in the same product category is that marketers want their products to be seen as representative of the category as a whole. The anchoring and adjustment heuristic. Consumers arrive at an initial judgment and then adjust it, sometimes only reluctantly, based on additional information. For services marketers, a strong first impression is critical to establishing a favorable anchor, so subsequent experiences will be interpreted in a more favorable light. Decision framing is a manner in which choices are presented to and seen by a decision maker. Mental accounting describes why consumers code, categorize, and evaluate financial outcomes of choices. Mental accounting is based on a set of core principles. Consumers tend to segregate gains. When a seller has a product with more than one positive dimension, it's desirable to have the consumer evaluate each dimension separately, listing multiple benefits of large industrial product. For example, can make the sum of the parts seem greater than the whole. Consumers tend to integrate losses. Marketers have a distinct advantage in selling something if its cost can be added to another large purchase. House buyers are more inclined to view additional expenditures favorably given the already high price of buying a house. Consumers tend to integrate smaller losses with larger gains. The cancellation principle might explain why withholding taxes from monthly paychecks is less painful than making large lump sum tax payment. The smaller withholdings are more likely to be overshadowed by a larger pay amount. Consumers tend to segregate small gains from large losses. The silver lining principle might explain the popularity of rebates on big-ticket purchases such as cars. That's for the chapter of analyzing consumer market. Next time, we will continue with analyzing business market. Thank you.